pale blue dot. This is the picture taken last 1990 on Valentine's Day by the Voyager satellite 6 billion kilometers from the Sun. As Carl Sagan said, "Look at how remarkable our planet is from another perspective." He said, "Look at that dot. That's here, that's home, that's us." Until 1992, when the first exoplanet was confirmed, it was uncertain whether there were any planets outside those in our solar system that can inhabit life. Today, we know over 3,850 planets around the other stars and thousands of planet candidates. Earth is the only planet known to inhabit life. What made Earth the only place for life? We will discuss certain factors that made our home planet the only place to inhabit life. Greetings, senior high school students. I am Teacher Gian, and welcome to Earth and Life Science Rewind. We are going to review for the factors for habitability of planet Earth. The objective of this video reviewer is to recognize the uniqueness of Earth being the only planet in the solar system with the properties to support life. Earth is one special planet, has liquid water, plate tectonics, and an atmosphere that shelters us from the worst of the cosmic energies and radiation. But many scientists agree that our planet's most special feature might just be us life forms. There are also potential habitable planets, but what are the factors to consider if a planet is habitable like Earth? For one, we always consider the mass of the planet to be like Earth. The mass of the planet will directly influence its climate. Another thing is the gases inside the atmosphere of the said planet. Notice that the other neighboring planets from Earth have very little oxygen, thus making them really hard to build life upon. Also, the location of the planet in the habitable zone around the star will also play a role and will be directly related to a planet's temperature and mass. There are 100 factors to consider if a planet is habitable, but for the sake of this reviewer, we will summarize them into 6. Distance from the Sun, atmosphere and magnetic field, favorable climatic conditions, presence of all phases of water, force of gravity, and nutrients available. First factor is the distance of our planet from the Sun. Our planet is located in the habitable zone, which the area is not too hot, not too cold, but good enough for liquid water to exist. Habitable zones vary from solar systems to solar systems. Luckily, Earth is along this zone. Being in a habitable zone enables planets to have right enough temperature for liquid water, and not just water but water vapor, have non-violent weather that is not dangerous for living organisms, of course enough energy for organisms, especially plants and autotrophs. Distance from the Sun will also influence the materials you have for your planet, so it's important that your planet has a solid core for it to have tectonic activities. An ideal planet would need a solid and hot core, not far enough from the Sun. Further, planets are actually made up of gases and are lighter already, so the distance from the Sun really plays a major role. The second factor would be the atmosphere and the magnetic field. So why are they both together in the second factor? It's because the atmosphere cannot exist without the magnetic field that protects it. Our magnetic field is caused by moving hot plate tectonics inside our planet. And what does it do? It protects us from cosmic radiation and solar wind. Actually, without the magnetic field, solar winds can force out all particles on this planet. It can make our planet a desert, just like what happened to Mars. The protection brought by the magnetic field made it possible for our atmosphere to exist. So atmosphere and magnetic field come together in this factor. The atmosphere also supports the water cycle and the transfer of many substances. For example, oxygen, carbon, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, they are all essential for life. So the atmosphere supports the cycle of these materials. And the third factor related to the atmosphere is the favorable climatic conditions. The climate should be enough that it can support water in its 3 forms. Ice is already present in other planets, but water should be in water vapor, liquid water, and ice. Those 3 forms should be important. There should also be sufficient amount of carbon dioxide for the survival of life forms. Yes, carbon dioxide can be considered as a greenhouse gas, but greenhouse gases, small doses, can be important to keep the heat of the planet enough to sustain life forms. And related to the climate mentioned earlier is the presence of water in its 3 forms: ice, liquid water, and water vapor. Water contains the oxygen for metabolism and is used in most life processes and compounds. You can say that the water is the most important compound for life to develop. Water needs to be transported throughout the planet, so it needs to have three forms, not just liquid but also water vapor. And with that, there is the water cycle to transport water in most of the parts of our planet. Next factor would be the force of attraction or Earth's gravity. Gravity is considered the anchor for all substances, objects, and life forms. It affects how everything moves, and even processes like chemical cycles, water cycle, the weather are affected by gravity. Again, gravity holds the atmosphere, our water, and having a strong enough gravity for a planet helps in holding things together. And the last factor is the nutrients available on the planet. That's why I mentioned earlier that the planet needs to be solid and has tectonic plates. The reason why a planet needs those things is for them to provide the necessary elements for life. Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen, they are the most important elements for life to exist. Not only those CHON, C-H-O-N, but also the planet uses water in the atmosphere to cycle those nutrients, making a steady supply of nutrients all throughout the parts of our planet. Our DNA, proteins, carbohydrates, all of our organic compounds need those elements and water. So how relevant are these factors to our society and in the field of science? Space agencies, astronomers are always on the lookout for planets possessing Earth-like characteristics and can be subject to probe and investigations through space missions, and possibly terraforming. So what is terraforming? Terraforming planets means that you change its atmosphere, temperature, and surface to be similar to Earth. Terraforming literally means that you turn it into something like Earth. So imagine in the near future, we might be able to discover a planet which has those factors for habitability like Earth, and terraforming would be the next step after discovering it. So to wrap up our video reviewer, here are the 6 major factors for habitability of planet Earth: distance from the sun, atmosphere and magnetic field, favorable climatic conditions, presence of all phases of water, force of attraction or gravity, and the nutrients available. Let's now answer this short quiz and test your knowledge. Just pause this video and try to answer these 5 questions on a piece of paper. You can resume the video once answering and check your answers after. So the video resumes and the answer shows in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here are the answers for Test Your Knowledge quiz. Thank you for watching this video reviewer with me, and I hope you have refreshed your lessons on this episode, the factors for habitability of planet Earth. I am Teacher Gian, and thank you for watching. See you next time on the next Earth and Life Science Rewind.